Hi, this is Sean, and today is Thursday, December 20th, 2018, and it is almost Christmas. And so today I'm going to go through my read of the market and also tell everyone that derivatives is not suitable for all investors, and that's about it. So, I wasn't feeling that well yesterday, so I woke up just shortly before the market opened, and I know it seems like every day I'm showing a lot of red, but also my frustration with this simulator continues to grow, and my confidence in it is not great either. Several examples again as far as really make a big difference in what I'm seeing in fills, and I've said before, I really try to do a good job about making sure that price, for example, trades through my price for entries and for profit taking as well. If it doesn't trade through, that's not going to count, because it's not realistic. If price doesn't trade completely through that price on a simulator, then you don't know if you would actually get that fill or not. So, but here's another example. I mean, huge amount of 27 ticks that pretty much ruined my day for my trades. Was this example here of, and as I remember it, and I don't know exactly what happened, but this should have been 2 trades, and maybe I fat fingered it and didn't execute properly, but this shows that I was only in the trade for 11 seconds, and maybe I didn't get the stop moved in time. But what this was supposed to be is a 2-lot trade, and where I came in here at 8:48 about 15 seconds later and averaged down, and this resulted in a 27 tick loss. And another thing that is interesting is that if you go back and look at the chart, it filled me hitting my stop at 73, and it was to the tick, which is frustrating, because if that was real, price never hit that. It never hit my price, so I wouldn't have been taken out of that trade. And 848, we can see here. It's real easy to see on the number bars for sure, as far as what that looks like. But here it is. Here we are, 46.72 to the tick. My stop, as I remember it, was at 46.73, and that's also what the simulator said it filled me at. But price never got there. So how do I don't know what to do about that, as far as putting that in my trade log, in my statistics as a loss, and a big one, that because we can see 848, I entered around here. I'm the first to establish my position around 48, I think. My expectation was that was going to move down. In 848, we can see after we hit this large high and rejected, I was looking to get short to go down and test these lows. And we can see this bar high right here is where I got taken out of the trade on sim. But to be taken out of that trade at 73 and to go down 100 ticks is, I don't know what to do with that, and I'm not saying I should be live, but it's just completely unrealistic. The swing of that would have been, let's just take away 27 ticks of loss, but not only that, 27 ticks of loss, and probably my first goal was to get down to here to test these lows. This low here was at 20, so my average price was about 70, 60, so that would have been a swing of about 30, so add on another 30 to that, so negative, so that's a swing of about 60, so that would have put me at about plus 55 on the day. So a lot of red here. Again, the sim always slips me on my break evens, because I always go +1 on break evens or 0, so it's always been my method, and my old mentor kind of showed me that just to cover trading costs, and it's just the mental exercise of making that a win or a break even rather than a loss. But this always shows it as a -3 here, -1, so I don't count those as negative ticks. So based on the sim, we're looking at potentially at least 60-65 ticks on the wrong side of this, but I'm not going to go back and say that that's what I got. I'm not going to say I would have ended up this day, plus 55, 60 ticks. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge for me being consistent. It's a challenge for me mentally to know if I'm doing the right things or not, because I don't have results that show that I am. But overall, so far this week, I feel pretty good. And the results don't necessarily, in the ticks, don't say that, but it just looks like a lot of me making brokers rich if this was live trading. But let's just go ahead and we're going to go back and we'll look at what the price action for today. So as we would expect, this really big down day on Tuesday. As usual, after a really long move, if we don't get a large trend, we'll get some consolidation to fill in some of this profile before deciding what we want to do. So what we got yesterday was this filling in, and we ended up with the point of control down here near the lows. So this, to me, indicates that this is, again, acceptance of price. So looking that we are likely to test this lower side, but also previous day's lows as well, to see if we're going to go lower or not. It was also very possible, I think I said that the previous day, that we may go up and test this point, the point of control from this large move up. We have this kind of like this triple profile distribution though. So a lot of times what you'll see is profiles end to kind of come in and fill back in these low volume nodes. And that's what this definitely did here and here up here. We didn't yesterday we didn't go back and test those lows yesterday, but then today we definitely did. So when I came in this morning, looking at price in a very, very tight consolidation here. So pretty much breaking down, we had this extremely hard rejection of the lows from the previous day. I mean, you can see how price came down and immediately rejected, and you can see it even more clearly. That was this low right here at about 2 a.m. It seems we're seeing a lot of very volatile price action in the European session. Seems like there might be a lot of good opportunities there. But that is that. So you can see, but how quickly. This is a 3-minute bar, and you can see how quickly that price was rejected there. And so again, so at that point I'm looking, I didn't really know, we're kind of back in this value area and consolidating. So like I said, I got to the charts a little bit late, just before the pit open. So I'm looking at this. I didn't really have any expectations maybe that we would come back in and test where this little micro, consolidation and value area was, where this big breakdown came from, and I wanted to see how we treated that. And as you can see, pretty soon after the open, after the initial balance hour, first hour was over, we did come up and test that and rejected. And this to me would have been a trade. I'm not sure. Let's see if I did take that. First trade was at 724 long. And that was, let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what it was. 724 is about here, I believe. I'm guessing that's what this looks like. So this trade was off of this failure of this low here. But not only that, I'm watching this low, the confluence of these lows in this area here. So especially in a balanced day, I'm looking and expecting that we will hold this in the short term. And since we held it nicely here, and we've held it several times, and then we came, I was watching how we treated this low, and we rejected that. And so I took a chance with my stop below here, and to test this up into these bar highs here. And it was a very nice win for a 29 tick win. And you can see I am still trying to work on my multiple lot strategy. I'm keeping it to 2. I'm not doing any more than that. I think that would be realistic for when I'm live trading. I would say maybe I would add another. The only time I think I would add a third lot would be on a strategy where I would not be averaging down, but where I am scaling into a position when I already have a position that's going in my favor. I would add another one to try to add to that winner. And I really like how this feels, because today, regardless of the results, it just gives me more room to work when I am a little bit wrong by 10 ticks. It just gives me that space that I need. And it also has allowed me, this is a really good example of another, after I finished this, after about that 9 or 10 o'clock time, I usually switch this off, and sometimes I'll continue to stay and watch, and I'll switch to just the Sierra simulator, and it's crazy because I'm not going to talk about it too much, but the results were great. Yesterday's results were great as well. I took some really nice big winners. But when I had a trade that I got on the wrong side of it a little bit, the level didn't hold exactly as my expectation did. So I saw another opportunity to add to that at a level where I thought I would get a reaction in price. So I was short. I was able to add at a little bit of a higher price. And when price came back down, I was able to close that actually for a profit rather than a loss. And, it's a fine line between averaging down and adding to a loser. But I had an expectation that if I'm able to add on, I can average down and get back to a lower price as to where I can either take this off break even or for a small winner. And that's exactly what happened. It came down to a number where I expected price to stall. And at that point, I wasn't going to, and it can be a fine line too, it's like, oh, well, this is going now, it's in my favor. But it wasn't the initial setup of the trade. So now at that point, I'm switching to kind of damage control and trying to either minimize my losses or take a small win or a break even. And that is a huge differentiator between, I feel like, not lying to yourself and not talking yourself into staying in a trade that is no longer valid. And that is the number one thing I think that separates people that do well, because they get stuck and they get married to a trade that is no longer valid. So it's giving me more flexibility, and I see that even when I make mistakes and have what I would consider bad trades, I'm still able to recover from them. This is another one. I don't know exactly what happened here on this 18 tick loss. 746 I got short. 746 I got short. This is a really volatile bar here. I got stuck in a trade when price just exploded against me. And that's about right here when this price just shot up, took me out, and I don't know why my stop was so wide at 18, but you can see here, this is not great when I took 3 fairly significant large losers in a row. So still working on, definitely need to refine my strategy a little bit. And so more or less, that's, I'm going to keep this a little bit brief, and I don't need to go through all of the rest of these trades, but it never feels good to not have a positive day, but the direction that I'm going and kind of this new strategy that I'm trying to utilize of multiple lots and scaling into positions and averaging down, but with that concept of a line in the sand as to no matter what, if I cross this line, I'm out of a trade. So that's what I'm always thinking about once I enter a trade, because it's so easy to, and if you don't have a hard stop in the market, which I always do, but they tend to be, they're in the dome, but I still am dragging them up to where I know, that line in the sand is above a certain area, above a certain bar high, where, if I'm short, if I take a short here, and I know no matter what, if I see price above this zone, I do not want to be in this trade anymore. But that's another example of, if I can add on here, and that increases my average price by a lot. And then even though I'm wrong on this, and I expect probably that the price is now likely to go up, I would expect price to come down to these bar highs. So if I can average down and expect this reaction off these bar highs and I'm still short, I can exit the trade here for a scratch, or even, who knows, possibly, depending on my price, a small winner, and then I'm out of there. And even though I'm wrong, I'm able to kind of save that trade a little bit. Still call that, I was wrong on the trade. Absolutely, it was didn't work out. But so that's it. Let's cut it off for the day. Thank you.